Hey, welcome to KocoSports Weekly TNA Impact Wrestling Review. I am the huge one, Dave Coco from KocoSports.com when it's up, and we are joined by my TNA tag team partner in crime, American Alucard. American Alucard, we always ask win, loss, or tie, so tell people where they can find you online, and what did you think of this week's Impact? Win, loss, or tie?
Well, you can find me on pretty much any social media site, YouTube, Twitter, Facebook. Just type in the American Alucard. And thank you, Coco, for telling me about, changing around, to get my videos more traffic or whatever. So I've changed it from just American Alucard to THEE American Alucard. So I've solved that little problem. And as far as win, loss, or tie, I've got to give this show a win.
I really did enjoy the show. I think it's a win. I enjoyed it a lot. And here's the only negative, and it's kind of something TNA can't control. And I don't know if it should be a negative, but it's a negative in life, not really a negative towards TNA. It's spoilers being leaked out when people don't want to go out of the way to get spoilers. You know what I mean? And maybe if they go live in the future or have dates, because I really enjoyed the show, and this is the main event spoiler. I did not go out of my way to search for it, but thanks to people that hate on TNA, I found the spoilers by accident. You know what I mean? The spoilers were everywhere. And I just think either TNA has to figure out to solve that problem, but at the same time, if you hate TNA, and there's an audience that hates TNA, without a doubt, you know what I mean? Even
Right.
some of the KocoSports audience hates TNA. If you hate TNA, don't ruin it for someone else that likes it. You know what I mean? And even if you are going to ruin it, don't just give out spoilers. I think that's such horseshit.
There are spoilers out there for Ring of Honor and spoilers out there for Lucha Underground, but you don't see any of us going out there and saying this is what happens on Lucha Underground or blah 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 blah.
Yeah, it does seem like WWE super fans, and I'm not bearing if you watch the WWE product. We watch the WWE product, but there are super fans that take it too far, and then just go on the official Facebook, the official Twitters, and give out spoilers. And I just think that's not cool, man. That's just not cool. But
And it makes
hopefully,
the WWE look even worse because they can't do a better show than a tape show that you know about months ahead. So I don't get the point of spoiling spoilers.
no,
And
I understand spoilers because the internet is out there, but label that shit. Don't be so mean-spirited about it, because I have friends that they'll check the spoilers first to see if they want to, watch it. You know what I mean? Maybe they're not as big of a wrestling fan. Like, oh, let me see the spoilers. People do this a lot with SmackDown. This is a common thing with SmackDown. Um, but at the same time, it's labeled spoilers. Check it out. You know what I mean? Where TNA's having this problem is just people just have pure hatred for the company, and you go to Impact's official Facebook page or Impact's official Twitter. And I
I see
understand that. I'm the
wow.
first one to say, hey, if you want to give shit to Dixie Carter, I'm not going to stop you. Sometimes Dixie Carter needs to be shit on.
Yeah.
But there's a difference between shitting on Dixie Carter and going to where fans would go for information and giving out the spoilers like dicks. I think there's a line. You know what I mean? There's a line to be drawn. And I think that that line is crossed. But with that said, even with the spoilers so far in advance, I really did enjoy the show. And I didn't know any other spoilers just because I try to avoid them. Because you never know. There might be a match on paper that sucks, that surprises you.
Like a
If
Rockstar Spud versus Crazy Steve match that people said sucked, but it was kind of funny, like that.
yeah, something like that. I know that, but you also read, the first matchup. What we'll get to, we'll start breaking it down. We got the Ultimate X match, which I'm a big fan of. I thought about it. Ultimate X matches are probably number two on my gimmick matches that I enjoy. My favorite of all time, because I think it can be done good at any level, is ladder matches. I'm a big
Yeah.
fan of that. Even on the indies, I think ladder matches on the indies could still be done well. Cage match on the indies, most of the time suck because the cage is falling all the time, you know? But a ladder match is so simple and so good. But I think when it comes to gimmick-type matches, that Ultimate X is probably my second favorite type of gimmick match. And they start off with the wrestling right away, which I enjoyed. You had the Wolves versus the Bromans versus the Revolutions. The Bromans this time were Jesse Goddard and DJ Z because they're doing a storyline where Homeboy got beat by a girl and he's just thinking about it backstage. And this is what I mean by spoilers. Jesse Gordes, or Goddard, am I saying that right? Goddard?
Jesse Goddard.
Jesse Goddard, he started off as a shitty wrestler, but he's really improving. And the drop kick he hits, it's an amazing drop kick. Like, I did not expect that from him. And that's what I'm talking about. Like, if I read the spoilers, saw who won, and all that, I probably would have skipped that match and would have missed a great match. I thought it was a really good opener. This is my style of pro wrestling. I really love the Wolves. I'm a huge Wolves mark. And I enjoy Ultimate X. I think this was match of the night. I think it stole the show. But with that said, this is my style of wrestling. So some people will be like, oh, this ain't for me. But for me, I thought this was absolutely awesome. I thought it told a decent story. I like seeing the Wolves. And I really enjoyed the match. And I thought there was a lot of decent spots. And it was an opening match. And it didn't feel like... A lot of times when you pull out an Ultimate X or a gimmick, it feels like, oh, we're just having a gimmick match for the sake of gimmick matches. It didn't have that feel at all, to me. But I really, really did enjoy it. What was your thoughts on the opening match? Oh, and for the record, just because sometimes I get so excited I forget to say who wins, the Wolves did win the match. What were your thoughts on the opening match?
Like you said, really enjoyed it. I did also like the stories they were telling in the match. The Robbie, it was like he's might be changing character because of his insecurities of losing to Brooke. And then you have Manic, who I want to say he's taking Sonata's spot in the Revolution as being sort of like the co-leader because he was directing a lot of traffic in that match, whereas you would think since Sonata was the first recruit into the Revolution, he would be playing that bigger part, but it kind of seems like Sonata is, slipping into the background in the Revolution.
Yeah. Well, I think it's just a language barrier. That's what I think it mostly is.
Yeah, that's pretty much true. Yeah.
And they also had the Muda Mist, which I was a big fan of.
Yeah, he's getting pretty good at that. Like when he first started doing that, it was kind of like iffy, but now he's becoming a real pro at that mist. The Bromans, I like the tag team more of DJ Z and Goddard because you got the high flying athletic guy and DJ Z, and you got the sort of powerhouse hybrid and Jesse Goddard. Jesse Goddard,
is he not improving a lot? Or, you know what I mean? Just that drop kick was amazing and all that, but go back when he first appeared and what was he, Victoria's boyfriend?
Yeah.
He had nothing going for him but his look. Now he's legit, he might have got a lucky break, because of reality television, but he's working his ass off after that lucky break.
If he can if they can find him the right character or the right thing, they will have another star in their hands. Putting him with DJ Z and put him in the tag team division, that can only spell good things for TNA.
Yeah, I really enjoyed the match. I thought it was match of the night. I don't know if you agree with that, but it go and
I could make a case
for the show. Go ahead.
I could make a case for it being the match of the night. The Wolves, they continue to look dominant. I do wish that TNA brings in more tag teams to sort of challenge them or make new tag teams, like in the BDC and everything like that. But the future of the tag team division is looking bright, so I really can't complain.
Yeah, and all that, but also we were worried. I don't know if you were part of the show or not. I forget if because you host a lot of shows now. But I was worried that after the Hardys Wolves they would have nothing. But it seems like their tour in the UK, they're really going out of the way to do it. So there you go. We got some live comments right now. Let's just go there. Forsaken says American Wolves Future Dragonflies all the way. Yeah, for those that play our fantasy wrestling free agents and trades are going on right now. Serious note, love Rockstar Spud finally winning a title. We'll get to that next. Next on the title winning list, EC3 as world champion. That'd be nice. Larry Hammer says, Coco, I agree. As a Canadian, I can legally watch the shows till they post it on YouTube. Yet the TNA Facebook page posted giant Kurt winning spoiler just minutes after the show ends. Uploads as an ass pile of show clips on YouTube, but not the entire show. All I could say is grr. Yeah, TNA fucks up their own shit sometimes too. I know we're putting a lot of blame on WWE fanboys because they do it so far in advance, but TNA has given out spoilers of their own stuff before. And I guess if you're in Canada, you get spoilers from the company themselves. Because I don't know if people know this. Canada, you have to watch it on YouTube. So they put up the whole show, and they just have it where you need an IP address for Canada. And if you know how to fuck around with your IP addresses, what? It's a pirate's life for me.
I think TNA does that because they know people are going to spoil it, so they try to outsmart the smarts. It's like, okay, you guys are going to post spoilers. Okay, we'll post them already. Fuck it, because you guys are going to do it anyway. You know, so
it's a tough spot that they're in. It's really a tough spot that they're in. Like a lot of times, and people that have listened to this show for a while, I've thrown Dixie Carter and TNA under the bus a lot. You know, and some things I'm like, no, this is Dixie's fault. No, this is TNA's fault. This is a tough spot to be in because if I was in their shoes, I wouldn't know what to do either. You know what I mean? It's a fine line that you're skating here. So hopefully, the ratings boost up or the channel gets behind them. And I want to thank SportsFan at Marcus New York 15 for liking us and retweeting us. Much love. Appreciate it. All right, boo, boo, boo. And people are going really crazy for this next segment, so we'll save those comments for the next segment. Next, Austin Aries comes down, beats the Beatdown Clan. I am very positive on TNA's product. I was a bit upset about the Kurt Angle spoiler leaking, but I'm really positive right now. I think since going to American Destination, they've made very few mistakes, and I think it's really good. The only negative that I can get, and I get pretty negative sometimes, is I hate how they fucking book the Beatdown Clan. I just do. I think it's done horrible. You know what I mean? And I know like they're hitting some home runs here and there, but one place they're really striking out is the Beatdown Clan, in my opinion. The Beatdown Clan comes better. Go ahead.
I read some of the stuff. It is their like they start off slow with the Beatdown Clan, but in the upcoming shows, you're going to be very impressed with the Beatdown Clan.
All right, I hope so because I love every athlete in the Beatdown Clan. You know, and you hear the news about Joe. You hear, I'm trying to avoid spoilers, but at the same time, you're just like, really? I don't know. So I hope that the Beatdown Clan, just for the athlete's sake, really turn shit around. That'll be interesting to see there. But Samoa Joe and Low Key enter, and basically Austin Aries is like, give me my shit. And they're like, well, you have to beat us for it, And they're like, all right, I'll beat you for that and the X Division champ, right? And they're like, no, instead you got Samoa Joe instead of Low Key. And you had Austin Aries versus Samoa Joe with Low Key. And I love Samoa Joe. And Austin Aries, it's kind of like I respect him, but the love is gone. You know what I mean?
That's good. My Aries. I like his little. Well, I'm not gonna say. I like the way he carries himself. He carries himself like a dick. It's funny. It's funny sometimes.
Yeah. What's cool? It's just I've seen these guys wrestle at ROH. I've seen these guys wrestle for the X Division. And it's just like the magic is gone. You know what I mean? And
they've done it so many times, though. So many times. But
even with Daniels and AJ, RVD and Jerry Lynn, I don't think the magic was as gone as it's gone here. You know what I mean? It's like it feels like they have the chemistry of an ex-wife and an ex-husband hanging out at a party. That's the chemistry it feels like.
Well, they
But
never really built Austin Aries and Joe into like a major feud. They just like these are the top guys in the S division, and they feud from time to time. But it's not. It never was built to be like this epic classic.
yeah, well, I'm also talking about in-ring chemistry. It's off in my opinion. Austin, you got Austin Aries versus Mojo. It's a decent match, but and maybe it's just that they have such a huge reputation. Austin Aries beat him in Ring of Honor. Austin Aries snapped the streak. You know what I mean? It might be that they can't live up to the reputation that fans put on them, but it was still a pretty decent match. But it ends in a DQ. Austin Aries wins. How unlucky is Low Key during the UK tour? First, he gets hit in the head with a pipe, spot gone absolutely horrible, busted the fuck open. And then, out of pure unluckiness, if that's a word, out of pure, like, what the fuck, the universe is against Low Key, the briefcase bounces up and hits him fucking directly in the head by just an awkward gravity, probably could never do it again type situation. And I'm just like, holy shit, it feels like Low Key's in a horror movie. Like, some stronger power wants to kill Low Key. But he took a really weird bounce on a suitcase, and the suitcase just, like, landed on his head. And I was just like, it looked uncomfortably painful. Austin Aries leaves with the briefcase, and now this is the part that has a lot of mixed emotions. Some people are like, this is the greatest fucking thing ever, and some people are like, oh my god, I hope you fucking die. I'm somewhere in the middle. I really am. Rockstar Spud comes out, and they all have briefcases from Feast or Fired, and he cashes in for his X Division, and he basically does the Spike Dudley move where he runs up the top turnbuckle, that DDT Bulldog. And 1, 2, 3, Rockstar Spud is your new X Division champion. And it's in UK. It's a feel-good story. They used the briefcase right. But at the same time, Spud beat Low Key. I don't know where you stand on it, but I'm looking at, like, the internet inventory, the community that we have, and it is, what the fuck you, Spud, to, oh my god, that was awesome. It was a good reaction and stuff. Even though they had a weird close-up of the camera.
Spud didn't really beat Low Key. Let's be honest. Aries beat Low Key, and he allowed Spud to pin him.
Or the briefcase beat Low Key. That briefcase shot looked horrible.
And then it's more on Low Key when you think about it. Austin Aries gave him a chance to, go all in, whatever, briefcase versus title. He could have had a chance to, have Joe on the outside, help him win both of the briefcases. But instead, his cockiness led to his downfall of losing everything.
So there you go. All right. So yeah, I enjoyed it. I really did. I thought it was a good moment. And not only that, but even though I'm a huge Low Key fan, Low Key barely ever came out with the title. So maybe with Spud, they can really rebuild the X Division.
And really, it's time for Low Key to move on to the main event. He's a main event player. It's time for him to move up there. And also, did you notice the little special touch they did with the Spud cash in?
Say that again?
Did you notice the little touch they did with the Spud cash in that made it?
No, what was that?
When Spud came out, did you notice like how there was no music? He just came straight out to cash it in, and it made it feel like it was, truly spontaneous.
Yeah. That's always a nice touch. Yeah, sometimes playing the music at the wrong time, and not that, but him being back in the UK, people went crazy for it. So yeah. So that's good on Spud. All right, next. I just think too much. Magnus attacks Bram in the parking lot. They brawl. They finally get to the ring. They brawl. Mickie James comes out. She brawls. I can only describe this as what my two-year-old son says when it gets too crazy. Too much. That's it. That's it. I'm starting to enjoy these characters, which, Magnus doesn't exist in 2014, and Bram, I never saw what other people saw in him. I really am starting to do that. And not only that, but Mickie James playing the part of the concerned wife. All right, I'm on board. But I don't know. Maybe you could be more positive about this. I thought this by far was the weakest part of the show. By far. Like, not even close. I think, like, I just saw it and I was just like, dude, too fucking much. You know what I mean? Spread that shit out.
You think you're saying because Bram got beat up, or it didn't need to be on here?
Well, it's too long. It's too long. It was too short of time between it. You know what I mean? Even the live audience, because, they probably recorded these all in the same day. The live audience didn't get the huge Magnus pop that he should have got. I just thought you should have bumped it back a week, made it a shorter segment, and not have Mickie James involved as much. Like, she could be there and be a character, but when she starts throwing down on Bram, it's kind of like, I don't know. And not only that, but it makes her look bad because she wasn't fighting like a wrestler. She was fighting like a valet. And I'm just like, no, you're one of the best knockouts, a great diva. You're a great female wrestler. Don't wrestle like a valet would wrestle. You know what I'm saying?
Well, she was fighting off emotion, so I could kind of see that,
I just think this segment was too much. Like, if it was up to me, and, they have it in the can, I actually would have cut this. I would have never aired this.
It just showed up, and just like next week had a match between Bram and Magnus.
Yeah, well, next week, or see what the next segment is. Like, I would have, like, because, it's not live, and this is an advantage they have. If I was TNA, and I'm backstage editing now, people complain about backstage booking. What about backstage editing? I would have just dropped it from the segment. I would have had a recap and maybe fucking some interviews in the back. Just completely drop the segment.
Maybe giving more time to Lashley versus Angle. Maybe
that's a possibility. And, if you're booking live, I just think, and you have to call it like you see it. You can't be like so positive, so negative. You have to call it like you see it. I think this was by far the worst segment. And Bram, I was never a fan of. Magnus 2014 just doesn't exist. We do that because I can't hate Magnus. I'll just erase it from my memory. I just think overall, I was just like, oh yeah, this is why I fucking hate them. You know what I mean? Like, I fucking forgot. I was like, no, well, I don't remember hating Bram. I don't remember hating Magnus. Now I remember why. I just thought it was way too long. Like, right now, the highlight clip on YouTube is 1 minute and 33 seconds. I think that's too long. I wouldn't have just fucking back. And I know it's the UK. I know Magnus has to be there. I know Bram has to be there. I understand that. But have Magnus in a match and have Bram run in. Like, you know what I mean? I just think it was too much, and I think it was the worst segment of the night. I don't know if you're as negative as me, but what were your thoughts on Magnus being attacked and the whole situation?
I think this segment, they wanted to give the crowd a little bit of a good feeling for Magnus. They didn't want to leave the UK or whatever where Magnus is just being gotten beat up like last time. They were like, oh man, Magnus is going to get the ass whooping. It's going to be like 2014 all over again. They want to send people home happy. But I do agree that it probably could have done better with maybe a match, have Magnus get a victory, and then have Bram run in. That could have worked well, but they want to incorporate Mickie James. And from what I've read, Mickie James, she's going to get involved. She's going to become more like a knockout / Magnus's valet in the future.
Gotcha. So, I think it was the worst segment of the night. And if I had any power control backstage, producing, editing, that would have made the cutting room floor. I wouldn't have aired it. Let's see. I'm just going to go through some live comments right now. On Facebook, Andy Papp says, giving Impact a huge win. That Ultimate X match was amazing. The main event match was awesome. And happy for Kurt. He deserves one last title run. And Spud winning the X Division title, getting my team points. Love him. Going to get him some new bow ties. And on that note, he's now on the trading block. American a la carte, I don't know. We have a fantasy wrestling league, and right now it's free agent time, so there might be a lot of fantasy wrestling league references you might not get. So I apologize ahead of time for that. Now, this is the thing. I only hear people talking about it online. I didn't actually see any sources cover this. But Ewok asks a question, and you follow TNA a lot closer than I do. I hear people talking about this, but no source that I've seen talk about it. I haven't seen any company mention of it. Is TNA really not going to be on TV for April? Is that true? Are they taking a month off in April? I've heard this, but I haven't seen any sources.
No, they've already got shows in the can for April.
Oh, okay.
Like they take their show. They take a week worth. Like in those 4 days, they take like 5 shows to do a month. So like the wrestlers, like they'll tape a show, be off for like a month. Like let's just say it's May. Oh, what was it? Okay, January, February. Okay, they tape the shows in January, and then like those shows for January go into February, so they don't have to work for February. But then they come back in February to tape shows for March. So that allows the wrestlers to do shows and other promotions when they have to come back in the other time to tape for the next month. So they do one tape. You get what I'm trying to say? Like they'll tape February. That's for the March shows. March shows tape for the next month, and so on and so forth.
All right. Clover Cold 89 says, "Win. Really good show. Good wrestling and no pointless segments." He also says, "Do you think TNA should mix in more face high flyer seen in the upper mid card to add some variety?" Yes, I think so. I think. I don't know. I just love that style of match in the X Division. I mean, it just breaks my heart that they had Okada and Tanahashi and ruined them. Hopefully
heel high flyers, because you don't see that too often. You don't see like some high flying guys that are just dipshit heels.
Yeah, that's true. It seems like as soon as you could do an amazing move, you're like, you're a face.
The only heel I see that's high flying is maybe Io Shirai, and I'm not even really sure that she's a heel because of the language barrier. So
King DW 2100. So King Darkwing Duck, one of our newer pay-per-view prophets, says, "Sup guys, TNA was a good show. Hope they can keep it up." I think American Destination's good, and you know what? Knowing the spoiler, I was really down going into this match in this card, but I thought they did a great job. But yeah, Rain Lazy 92 says, "Since Angle is the champion, who should face him at Slammiversary?" It depends on health. It really depends on health. If he's healthy and you build him up, a face Kurt Angle versus the heel EC3, I enjoy. But if EC3 isn't healthy, maybe Bobby Roode again. I mean, possibly have a Bobby Lashley rematch. I don't know.
I know what Roode's going into a feud with. I'm not going to spoil it, but he's going into a different. And
I honestly think the main heel should be EC3. I believe that, and whoever the face champion is,
he's going into it.
So we'll see. I don't want to talk spoilers, but
I'm not going to say to spoil it, but what they're building up to a scratch. I don't even think they might do a pay-per-view, but it's going to be a scratcher match between Kurt Angle and somebody. That's all I'm going to say.
All right. So you think stretcher match? All right. Yeah, and I wonder what they're going to do about Slammiversary. Is it going to be a free? Is it going to be a pay-per-view? It'll be interesting. Will they bring it back? Well, we had Bound for Glory. Come back to Japan. Jimmy King, as always, shares us on Google+. Much love for that. Rain Lazy 92, clearly a win. Solid wrestling and a damn good main event title match. All right, so yeah, TNA. I think TNA is getting more positive reviews since moving to Destination America. So yeah, so hopefully they keep it up. All right, let's break this down a little bit. On Google+, where was that? Google+, Forsaken just screamed, "Spud all the way!" So, different reactions for Spud. All right, I enjoyed this match. I thought these three women were absolutely amazing. I think they're just busting their ass. I cannot say enough about this. The Triple Threat Knockouts Championship was really, really good, and it gave us three great women's wrestlers while still being able to tell a story. Like, it's not the end of the chapter. And you had Awesome Kong versus Gail Kim versus Taryn Terrell. Taryn Terrell wins when she rolls up Gail Kim. Awesome Kong's outside the ring. Taryn Terrell sells how tired and beat up she is, you know. And she didn't look so glamorous. She looked like an athlete that went through war, which I think adds to the match. And yeah, I hope Awesome Kong isn't losing a step. I want to see Awesome Kong really crank it up and see where it goes. But I thought the commentary team did a really good job during this match. I thought the commentary team did a good job for this match, and the commentary team did a great job for hyping up the main event. I mean, they had their moments where it wasn't that great, but I like this commentary team so far. But yeah, I enjoyed a lot, and now just to like level a little bit, dude, the older Gail Kim gets, the hotter she is.
Oh yeah.
I mean, how is that even possible? Gail Kim's not human. Like, I've been in love with Gail Kim for, and I mentioned this in a former podcast, just in case you all watch every single podcast. I fell in love with her from day one. Like, you know how, like, husbands and wives have lists of people they'd sleep with? I only needed one. My wife's like, I got 5 guys. I'm like, 1, Gail Kim. And that's it. I think she's absolutely beautiful. And here's the thing. A lot of times, you know, most human beings, when they age, don't get better looking. She is absolutely fabulous. I think she's absolutely beautiful. Great wrestler, great, you know, overall. I mean, congratulations, famous chef guy husband. Congratulations.
Not important.
It's one of those things, I want to meet this chef guy just to shake his hand and be like, just congratulations. And he's like, on what? I'd be like, you know what. You know what. But overall, the match was pretty awesome. Gail Kim isn't aging. Her looks isn't aging in the ring. I want to see. I worry about Awesome Kong. You know, I worry about Awesome Kong. And Taryn Terrell did a great job. It's just crazy. Overall, I really enjoyed this, and it was a tremendous women's match. And not only that, but it also didn't end a storyline. And the commentary did a great job. What were your thoughts on this?
I like the character progression from Taryn Terrell, especially like when she hit the Taryn Cutter. No one knows really how I feel about that name of the move, Taryn Cutter. But anyway, she hit it on Awesome Kong, and Kong kicked out, and like Taryn Terrell just, you know, she's looking like, what do I have to do to beat this woman? That was my finisher. I'm at my wit's end here. What is it going to take to beat Awesome Kong? Like you said before, if you was to look back before and when she was, you know, in the other company, you wouldn't have thought she would have gotten this far as, you know, as a performer. Gail Kim, solid as always. The Awesome Kong stuff, I don't know. Maybe we are missing Havoc a little bit, because Havoc, while she doesn't have the facial expression and everything like that and the experience of Awesome Kong, she may be in a little bit more better health and like feel, you know, a little bit more quicker as far as that concerned. But you know, hopefully, you know, Awesome Kong can, you know, get recovered and recover the steps and everything like that. So
yeah,
I
because
think
the thing is, I was so excited for her to come back, and then she came back, and I'm like, oh, she's gonna be awesome soon. She's gonna be awesome soon. She's all right. She's not bad. She's just not awesome. You know what I mean? So hopefully she'll be awesome again. Or even if second place amazing would be nice. Then you had, I thought, the weakest match of the night. Still not a bad match, but you had the no disqualification match between James Storm versus Matt Hardy. It told this story. It cut a decent promo. It keeps Jeff Hardy's name out there. And even though I'm not a big Jeff Hardy fan or a Hardy's fan, there are people that absolutely love them. You know what I mean? And it's just the reality of it. I enjoyed it, but I still think it was a bit weak. They had some decent spots, and then James Storm cutting a decent promo. And once again, it's 2 weeks in a row where I question the camera work. They could have shot that better, edit that better, that last Bell shot. It's just, I don't know if they're missing shots. I don't know what the situation is. I don't know if it's different cameraman, but it seems like shots they didn't miss in America are shots they're missing often in the UK. You know what I'm saying? And I just don't know if it's because they have, different cameramen and they didn't fly their cameraman over, or it's just, wow, we missed 2 shots, because those are big shots. It's not like, oh, we missed a shot. You're missing storytelling shots that are very important. James Storms does get the win, and, like I said, after the match, they celebrate and hit him in the back of the head with a cowbell. The only thing that saved this match, as far as, like, positives here, booking it, is that it was in between 2 great matches, so it's like, hey, this is to cool the crowd down. But how often do you have a no disqualification DQ match to cool the crowd down? That just says something for the main event and the women.
I would say, like, the only thing I kind of didn't like about the match is making James Storm look very good in his spots. And from what I've seen, as far as like the one night only pay-per-views and everything like that, he's about to get very interesting in his. He's going to get very eccentric in his character, so that's going to be really good. But the rest of the Revolution, they kind of need to pick it up as far as their storyline goes. Like they're beginning to get into, I hate to say it, aces and eights jobber status. Like they kind of look like they don't look like they fit around him. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah. It's an interesting situation because at the same time when they're playing the backseat, the Beatdown Clan is looking so bad. It just seems like they are not using their teams to their fullest potential. It's like the way I believe teams should be used is, look, we're outnumbering you and you have to overcome the odds. Where it seems like, yeah, we overcome the odds pretty goddamn easily these days. You know what I mean? Like Beatdown Clan. We overcame those odds pretty damn easily. Oh, you know what I mean? So, I don't know. I think, you have to beat the odds and you have to beat the evil teams. But could it not be done so fucking easily? You know what I mean?
Like I said, the Revolution, they should have stayed in the back, or they should have just completely dominated Matt Hardy. There's no need for Matt Hardy. I like Matt Hardy. He's a very funny, talented guy when he's given the right role. There's no way he should be beating up all the Revolution members. The Revolution should be looking like a complete unit. Like James Storm should be looking like that head, strong, charismatic, eccentric, and the other guys should be his representation. They shouldn't be looking like, oh my God, if James Storm wasn't here, these guys would be getting the shit kicked out of them all the time.
I just think the heel factions should be harder to defeat. And granted, James Storm won. Look, they did still hit him in the head and all that, but still, I mean, I just think it's too easy for them. If Beatdown Clan was too easy, that's too easy. I mean, does anyone think the Hardys are not going to get revenge? Does anyone think the Hardys have an uphill battle? I don't think so. If you're honest with yourself, you're just like, oh, the Hardys are going to beat them next. You know what I mean? And I think that's where they're having a problem.
But then you get to the problem of people would say, oh, is another faction getting pushed down your throat and factions looking too strong? Then I don't know. Because like you don't want to go down that road, but you have to find a good balance, and hopefully it will as far as factions.
And I think the fact that they have 2 heel factions at the same time seems a bit weird. It's like, oh, okay, well, I don't know. And maybe you could, but if they went after different things, like their goals ain't very clear. It's like, we're bad guys and we're gonna win, and like if it was the Revolution's job to get the tag titles and throw someone out, or maybe like fuck up the mid-carders, and it was the main event No, I'm not going with Main Event Mafia. That's old school. It was the beatdown clans to fuck with the, you know what I mean? Because it's okay to have two heel factions if they have certain goals. Like, oh well, he's the opening card, he's the mid card, he's the main event. But it just seems they're both stuck in limbo. You
Going
know
for
what I
the
mean?
main event stuff because Storm, he said like in a backstage thing, he's he's not going to be content with the tag titles. He wants the world title. So like Manic and them or whoever, they can still go for the tag or the S division, where a Storm goes for that. But then look at the Beatdown Clan. You got MVP, low key, Kenny King, he's in the S division, and Homicide. I guess Homicide and somebody could be a tag team. MVP, he's in the heavyweight. MVP and low key, no, Homicide and low key as a tag team, that could work.
Yeah.
Maybe. But it's tricky though.
All right, so next before we go to main event, we'll get some more live comments. Boom, 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 just going across the board. I have an idea: King of the Mountain match, EC3, Aries, Angle, Lashley, and Rude. That'd be nice, but I don't know if they would want to use. Jarrett's kind of go-to match. I don't know. Maybe they will. Maybe they don't. King Darkwing Duck 2100 pay-per-view profit says, one thing I learned about Friday nights: do not watch the New Japan show on Access TV, then try to watch TNA. TNA will seem bad. Watch the New Japan show after, because even though the content is old, it's just way too good. Tried it once and it sucked after watching New Japan Pro Wrestling. And not knock at TNA, I love it, but New Japan, no matter what, no matter how bad it can be, is superior level to everything else. And yeah, I mean, I agree with that statement. I don't watch it because I've seen it live, most of that shit live, but I honestly believe New Japan's the best shit in the world. I do. I think it's the best product in the world, and I just hope the world gets to see that. But not everyone can be the best product in the world, and some people, don't. But yeah, I don't know if TNA would ever catch up in ring wise to New Japan.
They would have to get like a lot of top stars.
Yeah.
And like time.
So I just it would be hard. Now the thing is though, what TNA can beat them at is booking. New Japan definitely relies on having great athletes too much. That's the only weak. There's New Japan's weaknesses are not many people know about them outside of Japan. They have the fucking language barrier. And the third thing is just, yeah, they'll book shit just because you're like, well, where else are you going to see Okada? Where else are you going to see Tanahashi? Where else are you going to see Nakamura?
Well, let me ask you a question real quick.
Yeah.
Okay, ROH, War of the Worlds or Global Wars, if the Kingdom beats the Bullet Club for the IWGP Tag Team Championships, will you be mad or will you just like say, how would you feel about that?
I don't know. I think I would be indifferent as long as they came to Japan and defended it. Okay. Like if Bullet Club loses to the Kingdom, because the Kingdom has made a couple tours to Japan. Alrighty. So if the Kingdom beats Bullet Club and they keep doing those tours, I'm okay with it. What bothers me more would be if Okada's booked like a piece of shit again. If Tanahashi, last time he was injured, but if Tanahashi doesn't have a good showing, if Nakamura doesn't have a good showing, because even Ring of Honor fans want it. Like, they didn't want to put fucking Okada in the main event, and fucking Ring of Honor fans like, no, you fucking idiots. The fuck are you doing? Even Ring of Honor has Daniel Bryan moments. You know what I mean?
What matches did you see Okada and Tanahashi? What matchups as far as against the Ring of Honor roster?
I would like. This is just me. I would like a New Japan guy to leave Ring of Honor with the ROH title, and I'm not talking about AJ Styles. I'm not talking about that. That's what I would like. I would love to see that.
Somebody snap Briscoe's 2-year streak. Like who in New Japan would you want to see to do that?
It depends. There's a lot because you got Briscoe as champion as of now. It might change. But yeah, Briscoe is champion. I think Ishii would be a good matchup. Nakamura would be a good matchup. I mean, Nakamura won Meltzer's Wrestler of the Year, and you know how Meltzer and Ring of Honor fans kind of go hand in hand. You know what I mean? So I wouldn't mind that. I mean, Okada, but that's just me being a greedy fanboy. You know, and I don't know if they could pull it off. But Okada's so young, you know, so it'd be interesting.
What
But the
about
thing is,
Jay
I don't know if it
Briscoe?
could be Okada or Tanahashi. The reason I don't think it could be Okada or Tanahashi is they're kind of main eventers in
Mhm.
New Japan, and they're like the staple. Like even though their booking is absolutely horrible, they're still the faces of the company, and I can't see New Japan going, oh yeah, send over Okada. Just you know what I mean? Just send him overseas to defend the ROH title. I don't see that happening. So
Kota?
like, I think Nakamura. Who?
Kota versus
Yeah,
Jay
that would be a
Briscoe?
possibility. Yeah. I could
Or how
definitely see
about
that. And even Shibuta, you
yeah,
know. So yeah, you have a lot of different possibilities. Because
Jay
I thought for sure Adam Cole was going to lose to Liger, just because Ring of Honor, the company, marks out to Liger so much. So I was kind of shocked. Like, oh, I thought Liger was going to have a short turnaround, like you know, a Jamie Noble type total run.
would you like
Andy
to see
Paps is
Jay
saying Okada
lose?
versus Samoa Joe. I
Samoa
would.
Joe, he's gone before then. His last thing in Ring of Honor is going to be Super Card of Honor.
Well, Andy Paps is saying dream match of mine. It would be a dream match, and it would be great. But there, Danny Allmark says win, good show all around. All right, boop boop boop, boom, bum, ba-dum, bum. Ewok answers who would want in the main event against Angle. He says Rude, and Ewok also says good show, guys. I appreciate it. Thank you for the kind words. Let's get to this main event. Minus spoilers, I thought they did a great job. I thought Taz and the announce team, Josh, I thought they did a great job saying they've never been against each other. I don't know about you, but that is a very Japan style of booking that just piques my interest. When someone says these two athletes never fought against each other before, I kind of
Yeah,
like
they're like a good
just
match.
even no matter who the athletes are, you've already piqued my interest, you know. So I thought they did a great job with that. I thought it was a really decent match, a different style of wrestling from the opener. That's why I went with the opener as mine. But yeah, so Kurt Angle does win. He escapes the armbar. I love mixed martial arts. I love Kurt Angle. I love Bobby Lashley. I love pro wrestling. I hate fake mixed martial arts in pro wrestling because they're doing the armbar and Taz is coaching them how to get out, and he just, you know, I guess Taz is covering for him, but Kurt Angle, if you do any type of fucking jiu-jitsu, that's not how it's done. And then Bobby Lashley, uh, almost an MMA high-level guy, second-tier, you know, level guy, just lets go of the armbar. I thought it was cool, but Kurt Angle, you're a great pro wrestler. Lashley, you're very good when you hide your weaknesses. We understand you like MMA. I love MMA too. But when you go MMA and then you're like, okay, I guess they're going MMA, and I'm watching it, you have to be up there with Sakuraba to pull off fake MMA. You know what I mean? And to me, I was just like, oh. But minus the transition from the armbar to the ankle lock. Fast forward a little bit. The ankle lock and him almost passing out and then him tapping out, I thought was a nice touch. I really enjoyed that part. Just the transition from armbar to ankle lock. If you're gonna play MMA guy, then you're gonna get graded as if you're MMA fighters. You know what I mean? You
Yeah.
can't be like, well, I'm an MMA fighter. Look, armbar, I'm gonna escape. And no, no. Be a great pro wrestler. Don't be bad MMA guys. And I thought overall, besides that transition, I thought this was a great match. I really did. It's not my style of pro wrestling per se, but I thought it was a great job. And beyond that, I thought just hyping it up, the announce team. I went from, you know, I'm just going to be honest. Everyone has different opinion. I went from, oh, fuck, it's the match that Angle wins, goddamn spoilers, to, oh, fuck, they're doing a good job making this interesting. Oh, fuck, pretty decent, you know what I mean? And I think this is one of those, if I didn't fucking know the spoilers, and I promise you I didn't go out of my way, you know what I mean? I'm just not that person. I don't go out of my way to see spoilers. If I just didn't know about the spoilers, how much more special would have this match been? So WWE fucking fanboy trolls, congratulations. You ruined TNA for me. I hope you're happy. But still, TNA did a great job hyping it up, the commentary team. But I don't know about you, but when they were like, this was never been booked before, this hasn't happened before, that piques my interest. Anyone that's books wrestling or, that type of shit, like, it puts up my radar. So I'm like, ooh, this has never been done before? I'm interested in that. It's kind of like, it's the opposite of retirement matches, where people are like, oh, I'm going to retire. No, you're fucking not. Just shut up. But the first time they've ever fought each other or wrestled each other, I find that to be interesting. But overall, I thought it was a really good match. Damn spoilers, and don't do MMA unless you can really do MMA. And I'm not saying you have to be Anderson Silva. I'm not saying you have to be BJ Penn. And I'm not saying you have to be, some of the Gracie. I'm not saying that. I'm saying if you're going to play MMA, you have to at least do the transitions realistically. You know what I mean? Because once you start playing MMA, then my pro wrestling cap comes off and my MMA cap comes on. And I'm like, all right, now. No one would. What? No. So, overall, pretty decent. I was all over the place with the negative and the positive. But besides that armbar and spoilers, which TNA can and can't control spoilers. What is your thoughts on the main event?
Solid wrestling, You got two great guys that know what they're doing inside the ring. TNA made the whole thing feel like a pay-per-view match. Kurt Angle winning. There's a lot of different roads they can go down with that. I think Lashley is hurt or whatever, so I think that's why he took the belt off him. That he wants to do more with the MMA or whatever. I see where people would say Kurt Angle didn't deserve it or whatever because he's old, but he signed a 1-year contract. They're giving it to him for a thank you or whatever, and it's not like Kurt Angle doesn't have legitimacy to back up being a world champion. TNA, they're going down this path of where it's more of the reality era where the best wrestler in the company holds the belt. That's where they're going down. So
yeah, Kurt Angle doesn't bother me. I think the timing kind of bothers me. A lot of people are upset. I think the fact that the Beatdown Clan looks so silly and then Lashley just gives up the title right away, that kind of bothered me. And behind the scenes, the TV network saying this should be champion. Because Destination America, to the best of my knowledge, is a better home for booking wrestling the way they want to book it than Spike was. Spike had their hands in on everything. But this is the first time I heard that Destination America kind of like, yeah, Kurt Angle should be our champion. And I think that kind of cheapens the win for Kurt Angle. And I definitely think Kurt Angle deserves one last title run. But the fact that it came from the TV network, you're kind of like, this is a step in the wrong direction. You know what I mean?
It's booked badly. But, you can't really book Kurt Angle badly. It's not like he's going to put on a shitty match. It's how they're going to tell in the storyline of who beats him for the title.
Yeah. So it should be interesting, and Kurt Angle can definitely hold his own, especially when he's healthy and sober. He looks to be in great shape, great moving. So hopefully keep it up. And Andy Paps is crying about you saying Samoa Joe Okada can't happen. He says a boy can dream.
Maybe if Samoa Joe signs to New Japan.
Yeah, that would be absolutely amazing. Thank you for the 9 likes, and let's see, we have one new YouTube comment. Clover Cold 89 says, I think after the year Magnus had and getting basically punked like a bitch in front of Mickey by Bram, he had to do something, or fans would just say it's 2014 Magus all over again. And that's a great point, Clover Cold 89. Yeah, I could see that point. That's a good point. Because 2014 Magnus, we don't talk about it. we don't. We just don't talk about it. Oh man. But yeah, I could see the point. I just think it was done poorly. You know what? It's kind of like, I know this sounds bad because it's a staple feud right now. I mean, if you had a list of feuds, Magnus's feud would definitely be in the top 5, if not higher. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I just, this is just me, my opinion. You don't have to agree. I think Magnus, especially, well, I know Magnus. I'm going to say that a little stronger. I know Magnus will do better once this feud is over. I even think Bram maybe will do better when this feud is over. Like, just, all right, have the match. And, maybe they have, I don't know spoilers and I don't know schedule, so, like, this is just me. I promise you I don't know anything. Maybe during the UK tour, when they come back to America, this feud will be done. And I would like that. I would like that. I don't know if that's the case. I promise you I didn't read spoilers. But if this feud is over after they come back to America, I will be a happier little boy about the situation.
Yeah, it will be. I'm not gonna say who they get into feuds with, but yeah,
All right. Don't go all spoilers. Don't go all spoilers there. Spoiler, not. I was trying to make a Notre Dame joke and I fucked up. There you go. Thank you for correcting my own joke. I suck at this. Anyway, Andy Paps, maybe last question of the night. Dave, would you like to see a British invasion reformation with Magnus, Drew Galloway, and Spud? Magnus and Drew Galloway don't bother me. I think Spud is strong enough to stand on his own now. I don't think he needs to do that. No, who else? Who won the? Who's Spud Jr.? Who won the newest boot camp?
Mandrews.
I think Mandrews replaced to have Magnus, Drew Galloway, and Mandrew. I think that's a good British invasion. I just think Spud, and this is, I just think he's too strong of a character. And I know that, like, some people are like, what, compared to Magnus and Drew? I honestly think there's a lot of money in Spud. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like, putting him in a group
with him no matter where he goes.
Yeah. So, I think, you replace Spud. I think you have yourself an idea. All right. Overall, we both give it wins. Sometimes I come off negative, and some people are like, oh, you're so negative. I just review and critique. That's what I do. But overall, I still say it was a really good win. I enjoyed the show a lot. Minus one segment, and bad one segment, because even the matches, even the weak matches, were still good, in my opinion. So, overall, huge win. American a la carte, tell them where they can find you, and your last thoughts on Impact as we're wrapping this bad boy up.
Last thoughts on Impact are TNA keep going on the route you're going as far as, putting on a solid wrestling product. One thing I would critique is maybe more character development with some of your mid-carders. Also, a mid-card belt would be greatly appreciated now that you're going to start throwing people into the S division. So, United States title or TV title, maybe a TV title. Maybe a representative from Destination America comes down and says, "This is the new Destination America television belt," and make it feel like a big deal.
Yeah, I honestly like that idea. I know a lot of people will be like, "Oh, it's corporate sellout stuff," but people do that all the time in Japan. There'll be a tournament for the television network that's sponsored by the television network they're on. I know a lot of fans will shit on that, especially TNA haters, but I think it's a good idea. And on that, but it's one more thing to keep your bosses happy, their TV network happy.
Just as long as it isn't gaudy.
And I know, but it doesn't sound that bad. Destination American title. It doesn't sound that bad at all. You get red, white, and blue.
It doesn't need. I'm talking about it doesn't need to have Bigfoot on one side of the face plate and one of the shows and DA America on the big part of the belt.
It's just the channel logo. That's it.
Yeah.
Yeah, keep it simple. I think it's a great idea. Now, granted, that is the clip someone is going to take out of context and say we're sellout bitches. Just get ready for that. Oh man. But yeah, tell them where they can find you one more time.
On all YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, type in the American a la carte. On YouTube is THEE American a la carte.
All right, so definitely check it out. Also, like, comment, subscribe, as we're going to try to do a lot of shows this week. It's WrestleMania week, Lucha Underground. Go check out the review. We had an employee of Lucha Underground help us review it. It's free agent time in fantasy wrestling, so the channel is going to be packed. And now that our blog has broken, definitely check out our channel more. So like, comment, subscribe. There will be a lot of content. We're talking maybe 2-3 shows a week. Plus, this week, Thursday, American Standard Time, Thursday night, I will be on Wrestling Ranton's Agents of Smark. So I'll also be on another channel, and so much stuff is happening. So hopefully you stick to the channel, like, comment, subscribe, and also check out our family and all that other channels that help us out, such as the American a la carte. Overall impact thoughts, I enjoyed the show a lot. I thought the Magnus thing was horrible, and everything else I thought was good to great, with probably one of the best opening matches I've seen in a long time. I really, really enjoyed this week's Impact. You know what? I have to say something. Outside of Raw, I really enjoy pro wrestling. I think if you leave the Raw bubble and you go Lucha, Impact, New Japan, Dragon Gate, Ring of Honor, I think it's a good time to be a professional wrestling fan. Just leave that Raw boobs behind. Get off the old, if you're going to watch Raw no matter what, like I do, hey, go for it. But you are doing yourself an injustice if you're not checking out other shows. Because I think right now, it's WrestleMania week. Let's be honest, it's WrestleMania week. And I am so much more excited for every alternative than I am WWE. And that's just crazy. So please check out more wrestling. All right. Like, comment, subscribe. American a la carte, thank you. Internet Infantry, thank you. And with that, I am over. Boom, 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 boom.